given to Scotland, more control given to the Scottish people over their own lives because of the state's reaction to the rise of sentiment for self-government and for national self-determination. That is the facts of the matter. That is anybody's analysis of history. So, the Scottish referendum in 2014, much as the gentleman opposite may dislike this fact, I'm afraid didn't settle anything at all. And many people, when they look at this from afar, they misunderstand some of the things that were happening in that referendum. In particular, many commentators on the Liberal left in England completely get it wrong when they say that what was going on was some sort of assertion of identity. That was not the case at all. If ever a country had a surfeit of symbols of identity, it would be Scotland. Scotland has all the identity in the world. What it doesn't have is empowerment of the people who live there to control their own lives. And that was the spirit of the 2012-2014 referendum campaign. Are you wishing to intervene? Yes. Yep.
John Johnson very kindly gives way for me to take the opportunity to remind of the result of the September 2014 referendum, whereby by a substantial majority the people of Scotland chose to remain part of the United Kingdom family that we're all so proud to belong to.
As well, I mean, the result was 45-55. And of course, when the referendum campaign started, when the referendum campaign started, the split in the question had been about 75-25. So the truth is that during a period of a 2-year campaign, 750,000 people decided to vote for Scotland to become an independent country who didn't feel that way when the campaign started. That was really quite a remarkable achievement. Now, after the referendum campaign, people suggest that the colleagues like here and on my side, the SNP, that we don't accept the result of the 2014 referendum. I said in my maiden speech, and I will say it here again today, I do respect the result of the 2014 referendum. The people of Scotland decided to remain in the United Kingdom at that time. But as I said in my speech in the Claim of Right debate, sovereignty isn't just for the 18th of September 2014. Sovereignty, if you believe in it, the claim of right, if we believe in it, has to be for all time. So in a democracy, people have the right to change their minds.
Would you give way on that point?
I will.
I'm very grateful. Like him, I accept the referendum result, but isn't the point that the minority has rights too? Yeah. And the union can only survive if those who believe in it are really going to make the argument for it as long as they want it to live. Doesn't it ill become those same people to then scream in the face of yes voters, you lost, get back in your box?
It does indeed. But also, I think democracy must allow people to exercise their right to revisit a decision if the options that were presented to them beforehand substantially change. Well, no, I won't, because I'm not. That really couldn't have been a controversial point. OK, I'll give way on that point.
The honourable gentleman for giving way on that point, because then would he say his leader in Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, was wrong to stand in front of a poster that said, ahead of the referendum, one opportunity?
No, and I wish I hadn't given way now, because, of course, the honourable gentleman wasn't wanting to make a point on the point that I was making at all. Let me simply say this, that when, and it was very rarely that this was said, actually, but when Alex Salmond or Nicola Sturgeon referred to the once-in-a-generation thing, they were not doing that as a promise or a qualification. They were doing that. They were doing that in order to remind those who were campaigning for this opportunity that they may only get one opportunity in order to do that. But the truth of the matter, gentlemen, I will allow you to intervene if you wish to, but please let me at least. Well, no, you've had to say. The truth of the matter is that if you change the proposition, then people have the right to revisit the decision, do they not? I would have thought that is a reasonable situation. If you buy something in a shop and it promises one thing, you get it home, you open the box and it isn't what was promised, you can take your goods back. Well, we also should be able to get our goods back. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to go on for a lot longer, but I know you don't wish me to. So I want to try and come back to where I started and to talk about the relationship of Brexit and the debate we're having here on this question of the Union and its strength or otherwise, and of Scottish self-government. The truth is that what has been happening over the last period has been to substantially weaken the Union, because it weakens the devolution settlement that arguably could have given it some strength 20 years ago. And this is happening in three ways. The first is that for the first time in our history, the government is determined to ignore the Sewell Convention and to legislate for matters that relate to the devolved Scottish Parliament without obtaining their consent. That is a regrettable fact, but there's no point the honourable gentleman trying to deny it. The second thing is that if powers are brought back from Brussels, one would expect that they would go to Holyrood, but what Holyrood is being given is a list of responsibilities, not powers, and at the same time it is being told that it will only be able to exercise executive authority in those areas if it does so as part of a United Kingdom framework through a series of joint arrangements. And it has been made quite clear by UK ministers that these joint arrangements will bring together representatives of the 4 countries within the United Kingdom. But the question arises, who will speak for England in that discussion? And because of the asymmetrical devolution that we've had, because of the refusal of successive governments in this place to properly address democratic regional government in England, the only body that can speak for England is this place. So therefore, Westminster departments will advocate the cause of English farmers or English fishermen or whatever in these joint arrangements. The problem arises, of course, in the event of a dispute. They will also sit as judge and jury on what happens. And that makes the farmers and the fishermen of Scotland, of Wales and of Northern Ireland too, subservient to those who operate in the majority of the country. And that is driving a coach and horses through the spirit and the actuality of the Union settlement. So these are dark days ahead, Madam Deputy Speaker. We don't know where the Chequers Agreement now is. We don't know what relationship we will have with the European Union and what the status of the common European Union rulebook will be and what bearing that will have. But we do know that time is running out to sort these things. And we do know that in the midst of the chaos that this government has created, the people of Scotland have an alternative. They have a choice. They can decide to become a self-governing country, to take back control of their own affairs and get rid of the mess that is being created as part of the United Kingdom. And I'm out of time.
So there you have it. For the next clip, we're staying in Westminster. It's very short, this one.
What options are available to us in this House to ensure that the government understands the real concern amongst people in Scotland at this unprecedented power grab, and how can we make sure our voices are...
Did you catch that? I'm just going to play the first bit again.
What options are available to us in this House to...
In case you didn't catch that, that was Conservative MP Ian Liddell-Granger shouting suicide when the question, what options are available to us, was stated. I'll play that again and I'll amplify it so that you can certainly hear it this time.
What options are available to us in this House?
Love bomb, it's a coming on strong.
Again, feel the love, eh? At this point, I'd just like to point out that I do appreciate the irony of using a silly song when talking about who's more serious. However, the difference is, I'm not trying to be a serious politician, I'm just using a funny little juxtaposition to show up one of the campaign ideas of Better Together. This is entirely different from suggesting that a large group of people should kill themselves, or wishing an entire country to fail. With regard to speaking seriously, here's the last clip. Here's Yanis Varoufakis speaking about why he supports Scottish independence, and again, which side seems to speak more seriously on the matter.
Personally, I dislike borders. So to see new borders proliferate and new fences being erected is something that I detest. At the very same time, I see that Scotland has succeeded over the last 4 decades to remain loyal to the post-war consensus of the British Isles around a mixed economy, a welfare state, a health service and a university system that is not user-pay based. Whereas England, especially after Mrs. Thatcher, has been drifting into a kind of spiv economy, a neoliberal, financialised, City of London-centric regime that effectively is an abdication of the original consensus and a confrontation with what kept the Union together in this country. So I can understand my Scottish friends who say to me that, look, England has moved far beyond the pale of what the social contract was in this country, and we want to remain much closer to the European Union because they are closer to us, and so on and so forth. Ideally, what I would like to see is a democratized European Union where we can all be part of that federal project. We can all feel that we have joint sovereignty over our Europe. And if Scotland or Catalonia within that union want to create administrative borders that allow them to recover a sense of national pride and to overcome centuries of feeling that they were ruled over by London or Madrid with an iron fist, it would be wonderful that it wouldn't really matter that much. I don't want to see hard borders. I do not want to see new divisions, but at the same time I want to respect the rights and aspirations of people.
So there you go. I've got another couple of episodes ready, so the next one will be out in another few days. And for this episode, I'll leave you with this one.